Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Black America Podcast. We are your host. I'm Kai Alexander. I'm here with Jalen Caravaggio, Camille Young. Jalen, Camille, how you two doing?
Hey, we back with another one. This is going to be definitely an exciting one. This is definitely something that it's going to be a little controversial. It might be a little toxic. It might be a little toxic, just a little bit. But hey, we back with another one. It's a good one. It's a juicy one.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm feeling pretty good. We're going to talk about some interesting things. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, my bad. I'm just trying to get it out on Twitter and stuff. But
wait, this is actually live.
Yeah.
It's,
I know it says live, but I see a little live thing.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
Do you see
live,
comments?
baby.
Oh,
right.
this is cool.
Yeah, this is
Definitely.
Oh yeah, and don't mind the unshavenness.
The baby face.
Jaden, if you're watching this, do not screenshot all of this, bro. Jaden, if you, I swear.
You telling people to not screenshot makes them want to screenshot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you kind of want them to.
Yeah, more attention out there. Hold up. Hey. Hey. No, but seriously, Jaden.
All right.
Seriously.
So, yeah, and for all you guys out there watching on YouTube, this is the very first episode on YouTube. Give a round of applause. You know,
Yes,
we did it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We on to bigger and better things. So, today we have a nice little episode today. So, we're going to start off with the first topic, which I feel is the most controversial or the most talked about one now, and it's about the shooting in Atlanta. So for anybody who didn't hear out there, I'm just going to briefly explain. So in Atlanta, there was a 21-year-old man who went to I think it was two different massage parlors.
Asian-owned.
Yeah, Asian-owned massage parlors, and killed 8 people, 6 of them being Asian women. And I think it's just sad just to see somebody out here being like, really, I don't know what clicks in your head for you to kill one person at all, but for you to kill 8 is just crazy. It's unbelievable. And I know this is going more into Asian hate and like Asian discrimination. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know much about, or I wasn't hearing much about Asian discrimination, but I feel like now because of the pandemic and like the stuff that happened, like it's starting to come out more, and it's just crazy. We have to change the way this country is. So Jalen, Camille, y'all want to talk about that?
I mean, honestly, and a lot of things have brought about when it comes to just discrimination in general in America. I mean, a lot of things when it comes to, white on black crime, and now what we're seeing is just Asian hate and the discriminations that they face and is being brought forth, and it's even harsher than what we've seen or what we've heard about. I mean, we've kind of seen videos. I mean, I know I have seen a video before. It was on Instagram, and they people going up inside corner stores and messing with the Asian clerks, and it's some of it is funny, but some of them they just be taking it to the max, and it just shows we're unintentionally doing racial harm and some sort of trauma to them. And we've seen it to the major extreme right now, where we're talking about this Atlanta shooting. I mean, 6 Asian people. I don't know how many were men or women, but hey, it's still 8 people that were killed, 6 of them Asian. And I think it's just horrible, the fact that there's somebody that's out there that truly hate, that has hate in their heart for another group of individuals, and would just go out and do something like that. That's just unbelievable. I mean, even for me to understand. So, and there's a lot of people that's out there even still that think whether or not it's a hate crime. I swore on everything. I was in the middle of class, and I don't know who brought it up, but I was inside of one of my classes. I won't name the class, but it was something with the Atlanta shooting. Somebody brought it up, and then my teacher, he was like, well, we don't know for certain if it's a hate crime. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, there's no way. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Right? It is just crazy to me. It's like, bro, we're seeing this literally with our own eyes. We see it, we read about it, and then there's a lot of people that just don't think like, it's not really a hate crime. I mean,
it is.
It's not. It's just terrible. Like how, and again, it's like it's terrible that the treatment that a lot of people in the Asian communities get, for this, because I'm not necessarily sure how to like say it in words, but what we know is like I think like LGBTQ and African American, I think our discriminations are put at the, how do you say it, at the front when we're talking about kind of like we display it. Right, we display that, but not necessarily with the Asian community, that we don't necessarily see that all the time. And so when it comes to the front lines, it's kind of like a shock factor. It's like, how? Like this is just unbelievable. But I know I've been talking for a little too long.
No, I want to touch on what you were saying. Well, first of all, I have like two things. This is a hate crime, and the fact that we're trying to sugarcoat it for what it was a hate crime, and it was acting on white supremacy. And I know that the police officers were saying he was having a bad day, but have that guy be any other race, especially a black man, he would have persecuted him immediately. So that just shows white privilege, white supremacy, and truly what it is a hate crime. And even though he claimed it wasn't racially motivated, if you look at the victims, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. It really does not take a genius. And I would say, to touch on Jalen's point about how sometimes other minority groups are put at the forefront of what discrimination looks like, it is kind of sad, because I know sometimes people have said that Asian people are like the model minority and they don't really have anything, but they've been dealing with a lot for a long time. There's a lot of microaggressions. Even if you look at how Asian people are perceived in the media, it's just as how they create that narrative of black people, they do the same thing with Asian people. So then when people don't see them acting a certain way, then they just, think other things. And also with our implicit bias, there's a lot of jokes that go around that we've all been brought up with. Even from elementary school, I can think of a lot of jokes that are inherently racist, but we're just kind of saying them just to say them. I know we're laughing about it, but it's still not right. So It's been happening to the Asian community for a long time. And now it's just being heightened because of COVID. And now we're actually seeing it for what it is. And it's not being buried under a couple of jokes when it's nothing to be laughed about.
Definitely.
Right.
And you said something about the people saying he had a bad day. I actually wanted to talk about that real quick. So right here, it says official who said Atlanta shooting suspect was having a bad day, was facing criticism. Right there, he said the sheriff. So right here, it says the sheriff's office said Long confessed to a crime and told officials about a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate. He said it's too early to determine whether he'll be charged with a hate crime. So basically, what they were saying, they were just saying that, oh, hey, he was having a bad day because he's a sex addict and he was trying to take out temptation. First of all, do you know how many people in the world would be dead if everybody decided to kill somebody after having a bad day? We all have bad days. It's not that big of a deal.
Making excuses, like that's the problem, and it's so hard to like. You have to call it what it is. Like there's a lot of times when there are mass shootings, they're terrorists, but we won't call it that. Oh, that person has a mental illness. And I'm not denying the fact that person does have a mental illness, but we have to keep the same energy, because we are so quick to criminalize people when they do harm, but not to our white counterparts. And this goes for any other race. And I know I saw like in the comments how there's someone who's Mexican, but I also know like in the Latino community how they get painted in a negative light as well. And we just have to keep the same energy. If we're going to say that this person had like this background or whatever, and they were bullied as a kid and whatever, that doesn't mean that they should, start killing people. I don't think that justifies anything. But if we're going to pull out some mental illness, we should also talk about how some people who might result in crime probably result in some form of PTSD, because that is a form that a lot of people might be dealing with, especially within certain neighborhoods, because they've witnessed a lot of stuff. It's not just people who are in the military.
Right. And like you said, it's just like the man said in the comment, you know, and what Jalen said earlier, you know, I feel like black discrimination is like the only talked about one. And yes, I know like we've been discriminated a lot, but there's other races out here that get discriminated too with the jokes. Like you said, with Asians, like the main thing is just like, oh, they're smart, they're good at math, stuff like that. And then Mexicans, it's like, oh, they you know, like it's just different. It's different minorities out here that face discrimination, but it's not talked about enough.
Man, we need to start talking about Native American or
discrimination.
That doesn't get talked enough.
Like, if we really want to talk about somebody who really goes through the struggle. I mean, I've seen like certain.
They were here first. And they were moved off the land.
Yeah, they are American history. Like they started it, but
And then even if you see, I've seen this documentary about there was somebody who ended up going onto the what was it called, like the reserved lands or whatever that they have. Like you should see the people that's there. Like they have their own stores, but like they're like depressed. It's like it looks worse than Sandtown, Winchester. Like I'm talking horrible. Like there's a bunch of people that's drugged out, alcoholics. They have what the primary business that's out there. It's like casinos, but you're spending money to lose money out there. Like what's the amount of time you actually go out there and you make money? Not much. I mean, it's just horrible. Like what they have to go through, and economically, they're not. They're in no way, shape, or form that they have any possibility of them actually making it out of those environments.
Yeah, and I would say the only way, at least what I was taught, that the only way that they can have better opportunities is if they leave the reservation and leave behind all their culture and try to bury it in order to assimilate to American culture to do that. But that's so sad that people have to change and abandon everything about them just to get somewhat of an equal opportunity.
Right. It's because like I said, they were here first. They're the actual true blood Americans. And they got kicked off their land, forced on the reservations, and then even like the whole thing with the Trails of Tears is just heartbreaking, and it's sad because America is painted as like this land of the free when the whole country is just built on lies and deception. So
and nobody is really free.
Yeah. That's Rosie said, "Thank you, Jalen, I guess, for talking about the Native Americans."
Thank you. He knows. He knows. Great minds think alike. Hey. And man, but man, not exactly sure. So what they go through, it definitely is horrible. But I think I forgot exactly what Camille said. What did you say? It was something about, oh yeah, we have to assimilate. We have to kind of throw away our entire culture of who we are just so that we can assimilate and kind of be better. And I think that a lot of black people have, a lot of minority groups just in general have to just go through that, because I feel like there's a stigma of kind of being yourself. You have to kind of act white so that you can.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be honest.
Stop before I go on a rant. Jalen.
He said there's not Jalen's fluent facts.
Like honestly,
he really is.
Kyle, you'll know this, right? I know you've seen me like present like projects and stuff like that in school, and I have to talk so proper because that's what I've been taught anyway. But I get this kind of thing where I have to be like, oh man, you sound so white, but like around us, you like,
ooh,
yeah, like you like a black dude. It's like I kind of have to be that way because I've realized this in my freshman year that if I kind of just talk casually, I don't get good grades.
Yeah.
But if I have to talk in a certain way and I have to be better prepared for myself, I'm going to get better grades. And they're going to recognize that's like, oh, that's what they kind of can cling to.
Right.
So that's what I've just realized. Like, and I know for a fact that my mom's talked about it. Like, she talked about going on interviews that she has to dress to proper and she got to kind of like lighten herself up, even though she's light skinned. My mom is about the same skin color as me. Right. I'm a light skinned white guy. All right. and she's about this, and she got And she gotta wire herself up, and she knows for a fact like that's how she can kind of get to that better position, where she has a better opportunity to landing the job that she needs, because she's had previous experience, whereas though she is herself, and she can't get to that place where she desires to be. So she kind of just have to, like what Camille said, you just kind of have to assimilate and just throw away everything that you've had in the past.
Yeah, and Rose brings up a good point right here. It's wild how dreads are perceived as informal. It's crazy. Like you said, we have to assimilate, and when you go to like a job interview, something, it's always, oh, you have to have long straight hair, or if you're a guy, you have to have a short low cut. Like if somebody, like, that's just part of like our heritage and our history as Black people, so we should be able to wear those. Because dread, I feel like the biggest misconception about dreads is that they're dirty. They're not. If if you keep up with your hair and stuff, they're not dirty. And it's really crazy and unbelievable how, like, everything that's formal, everything that's like, all right, this is the professional look, the professional way, is stuff that's similar to white people and white culture.
Yeah, I would like to say that I think a lot of people like to comment on things that they don't understand, that they're so quick to judge, and not even just like assimilating. I would say there's like a big thing like code switching, and I know a lot of people go through that, especially youth, who like minority youth who go through that. And the thing what Jalen was saying, it kind of made me think of something that we have been like taught, that when you talk proper, that you're talking white. But we need to get out of that. Intelligence does not have a color. Just because you know how to speak proper English does not make you trying to be white. And I know a lot of people who will say like certain things like, oh, you're like the whitest Black person that I know. Just because I'm like being respectful or I'm talking proper. Intelligence and respect should not have to be determined by your skin color. I think that's like the biggest misconception. And then when people see you, they say that you're not acting like a certain stereotype that they already have in their head, that preconceived notion, that implicit bias. And when you're not acting like that, they just immediately assume that you're trying to not be with your culture. You're trying so hard not to be Black, and that's not what people are trying to do. And a lot of people think that we are the face of the race or whatever. So like when people come up to you and you don't act like that other Black person across the street, oh, you must not be Black. Oh, you're not like one of them. You're not like that. So it's like, it's the little things like that people need to, one, educate themselves and realize that Black people are not monolithic. We are not all the same. That goes for any race, that we are not all the same. Just because you see one person does not mean every single person is going to be just like that. And when they don't fit your mold or idea of what you think they should be, it doesn't mean that they're trying to get away from their other culture. And the thing about the dreads and everything, I think Maryland is trying to institute this as well, but I know in California, they have the Crown Act, and you can't be discriminated against because of your hair. Because, again, your hair does not define your intelligence.
So. Exactly. And what's the name? Y'all been talking about, like, the whole you sound white thing. I'm going to try not to go on the rant just because
I ain't gonna lie. You've been catching it the worst. Ever since freshman year,
Jalen knows too. Like, what's the name? I've been in PWIs my whole life. I go to St. Joe, and it's more Black kids there. So it's like, all right, I get to speak. I'm around more Black kids. I speak the way I speak, and it's like, Kyle, why do you sound white? I'm like, what do you mean I sound white? It's like, no, like it's like you sound white. I even had a white kid come up to me and say, somebody said I was the whitest Black person that they know or something. I'm just like, just because I speak proper, or I use academic English, just because I use the English I was taught in school, just because I don't sound like quote on. I even said this too. I said this to a kid. I was like, why? I was like, so I sound white because I don't act ghetto or speak ghetto. He was like, well, I'm not ghetto. I'm like, so then why does that make me white then if I don't speak that way? So what makes you speak Black that I don't speak Black? It's just, we have to get out of that mindset. Black people, if you speak educated, you can be a Black person. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to speak. You don't have to act ghetto. You don't have to act like dumbed down or anything. Just speak the way you speak.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say like, oh man, I done lost my thoughts here. Hold up. Oh my gosh. No, but I was gonna say that I really just don't like acting. I don't even know like when people act ghetto like all the time. Like I kind of just don't like that. I'm not gonna lie. Like that kind of just be getting on my nerves. It's like come on now, you don't want to do a little bit better for you. Like I know people that's like that just ignorant all the time, and I'm like, come on.
I think sometimes, I mean, I'm not going to speak for other people, but I think sometimes they think that they can't get out of that. So if that's all they've been around, that's all they know, what makes you think they're going to change? Because it's kind of hard to really change. And I know sometimes it's just maybe they don't want to, or they don't think that they can. So
it's true.
In your environment.
But a lot of times that just comes with people just not wanting to. And at the same time, it's like, if you want to be rude and disrespectful and ignorant all the time, that's like come on now. Like I'm gonna be honest, I just don't like that. I stay away from people like that because oh my gosh, why don't schools institutionalize slang among different
That's
cultures?
A good question.
Ooh, good question.
We don't know. We sitting here learn about Latin. Like Latin and Spanish. Like who wants to know about Latin? Like the Roman Catholic.
But Latin could actually help you understand certain words because not even specifically Latin, but I think I've learned words in Spanish that I didn't even know they were words in English.
Yeah.
I was like, that's something. So I think that's cool. But the thing about using different slang, I don't know if we would probably use it in our English class. But wait, this is off topic. But did y'all hear how they added finna in the dictionary? Like how finna is actually a real word, and it says from African American vernacular meaning fixing to. And I was like, fixing to. I just honestly, that's just how I text and everything. But I would say they probably won't add it to the curriculum, but I think it should be more. Oh my gosh, can I speak? I say that it should be a little bit more open in the classroom. Like if people are talking with their friends, you don't have to talk proper all the time. I think there's a time and a place for everything. Now I'm not going to talk to my teacher that way because I don't think that shows a form of respect, and she's not my friend. They're not my friend, so I'm not going to talk to you like you're my friend. So I think there's a time and a place for everything. I think it should just be a little bit more open within the classroom when having discussions within other classmates. Not so much with your teacher, but I think other classmates, it should be fine.
That's funny. And I'm not going to lie, if you know this about me, like I'm probably one of the biggest code switches that you'll ever know. Like I'm like how I am right now, not like this in school. Like, well, I mean, like around other people, but like once I get in front of a teacher, oh hey, how are you, sir? How are you? So yes, on
how are you doing?
Yes, on page 56 on this line, to everything that we have done.
It's the finger. Like
just reading down that line. Like, yeah, just that's me. But no. Yeah. Wait. Shoot. We've all gone through it. We've all gone through it.
Yeah, it's not just one specific race. He said it's not like everywhere you go it's student-taught language. Like if you go to Taco Bell shop, you'll get side-eyed. Yeah. Perfect example.
Yeah, I think it just goes with I'm so sorry, I just cut you off. Keep going.
No, I was done.
Oh, I was gonna say that this goes with like the point where there's a time and a place for everything. Like if you were in a job interview, going to school, like you're not gonna talk like you're talking with your friends because you're trying to get the job. You're trying to, get that good education.
Exactly.
But if you're on the street, you don't have to talk like that because there's less boundaries, there's less rules.
Yeah, right. Definitely. So, any last thoughts?
Oh, shoot.
All right. So I guess we can move on to our next topic. So Shaquille O'Neal made. No, this year, anybody who's been watching basketball or keeps up with Shaq knows he said some pretty outlandish things in terms of basketball. But this one has seemed to be the most outlandish. So I'm gonna just play the clip right here. Show it on the screen real quick. All right.
This seems like a fun Zoom lecture. Like, how you gonna share your screen?
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen, class.
So yes, just how many seconds do I have to be in?
All right. So
am I unmuted? Like, am I unmuted? My sound on?
Can y'all see the screen?
Can you guys hear?
Must go Blake.
Can y'all hear?
Yeah.
It's pretty low, but I can hear.
So listen to me now. You ready?
All right.
We've heard it.
Yeah, we've.
So in beach volleyball, the women's net is maybe half an inch lower. You think if we just lower the rim so y'all could dunk like we dunk, that'll give y'all more oomph than you already have?
No.
I mean, because listen, y'all are doing the step back, the pull back. Y'all doing everything we're doing, but I don't see a lot of people going up with two hands and, back.
Oh, it's coming. Opportunity is a.
So you don't think if we just drop it to 9, 10
Nah.
and a half?
I'll guarantee Layla, she's into dance, but my next child will be drop step dunking. I'm still
Think about that move that
Telling
Coop used, and stationary in and out to the.
So yeah. So Shaq was basically saying that he feels to make the WNBA more entertaining is that they should lower the rim from 10 feet to 9 feet so that there's more dunks and stuff. Personally, I don't feel like that's the right answer. I'm gonna let one of you go first. One of y'all can go first.
Oh, I don't think that's like the right answer, of course, but I mean, I think he's trying to address an issue that a lot of people won't necessarily say because of the fact that it might be a little bit harmful. And of course, I said that in the beginning this might be a little bit controversial, but in my personal belief, from what I've watched in the WNBA, and not necessarily that it's not very entertaining. I mean, to me, because it's not like you've seen in the NBA where you see LaMelo Ball literally going behind his back, throwing passes over his head and all types of crazy crossover moves, but I haven't necessarily seen that. And what Shaq is trying to say is that the WNBA kind of needs to be a little bit more entertaining so that those women who are demanding a bigger salary or deserve the respect that they need, the league has to make that funding. Because I was watching something with Adam Silver, and he was saying something along the lines the WNBA is going in the red. They only made $60 million last year, and $72 million is what they spent. They're in the red of $12 million. And it's just going to keep on increasing until they actually get a fan base that truly loves to watch basketball. And the fan base that's watching WNBA basketball right now is older white men. And that's a majority of it. It's not even women that watch WNBA basketball. So it's kind of crazy that the demographics are older white men as opposed to, I don't know, younger people or, other women. And that's what they need is kind of more of an entertainment, because the same thing works with I don't know, the Cleveland Cavaliers a couple years ago. Well, not even a couple of years ago. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, well, I won't say they suck, but they not good. They're not getting the same attention as a team like the Charlotte Hornets or the Lakers or the Clippers or whatever, really top tier teams. And I think that it's just the same exact thing, whereas though that's you don't see, windmill dunks. You don't see as many step back threes or something like that. And so what he said is why would you say that? But I think he's trying to point towards in a direction where as though it's how do you attract more people? And he's going down the path of, well, try to make it more entertaining so that a lot of WNBA players can do the dunks or the windmills or whatever. So right. That's just my personal belief. I think there should be a way that the NBA could do more promotion for the WNBA, or try to increase the demographics from not just being a majority of older white men who truly love fundamental basketball is what you'll see in the WNBA. I think that I think it's just more promotion. Need to talk about it a little bit more so that they can increase certain fan base and try to increase the watch time for, I guess, the Minnesota Lynx, for example, or the LA Sparks, teams like that, whereas though you can see some really high level people in Candace Parker and Maya Moore, people that that are really nice at the WNBA. So That's all I had to say. I think it just needs to be a little bit more promotion when it comes on that aspect.
Camille, you have any thoughts or comments on this?
See, at first I thought I wouldn't be like that good of a commenter because I'm not that I don't watch women's basketball. I just don't really watch sports in general. So it's not just because it's not just women's. But I would say the way that Shaq brought it up, it was kind of rude in how he said it. He said to help y'all. He said, just to help y'all a little bit. And I understand it's probably because, it's more entertaining, but he didn't say it like that. He just said, we should lower it to help y'all out.
Yeah.
And it seemed like we're just giving them a handout. And the way he addressed the issue wasn't the best. But I do agree with what Jalen was saying, how they do need to get a little bit more coverage. And yeah, I just think how we have to advertise it and push it out, it could help a lot, but they do need to change their demographics of who actually watches them. So then it could help them a lot. And then that could, in turn increase their pay, because if no one's really watching them, they can't just have the money come out of thin air. Like
Right.
It's not like they're not good. It's just that not everyone's watching them. So if we find other ways to make it more entertaining and stuff like that, but just the way he came about it was a little rude. I could see why she gave him a little bit of side eye, and I would too, because as I was watching, I was like, I know he did not just say that. He said to help y'all out. Like, that's the only thing that's been playing in my head, just to help y'all out, because y'all really need it and whatnot. But I would say, like, even like at my high school, our girls basketball team was significantly better than our boys basketball team. And I went to those games because they were winning and it was really fun and the crowd was hype and everything. So it's not that girls just can't play as hard as boys or whatever, and they're not as entertaining. It's just, I don't know if people like know to really watch it, but honestly, all you see is a lot of just like the regular NBA, and you hear about all these other players and everything. But I think once they get like some more sponsorships or something, I think it could push it out a little bit more. It all comes down to how you advertise it.
Right.
And my thoughts on it. So I was in the locker room app, and it's just like a little like app where you can just discuss about sports or really whatever. And people were talking about WNBA and like how it can, like how it can get more respect and get on that level. And it really started not even just with the WNBA, but it started with the NCAA women's, the Women's March Madness, because there was a picture on Twitter where Jalen knows. So I want to see if I could find this, but basically there was a picture on Twitter where they show like the different accommodations for like the men's tournament compared to the women's tournament. And the men's, like the weight room they had, it was like a legit weight room. It looked like it was Planet Fitness. Like it had like the bench press with different weights, stuff like that. Then you go to the women's, all that was in the picture was just like a stack of like dumbbells and some sanitized yoga mats. And then whereas if you get to, then they show like the little swag bags or whatever, like how if you go somewhere they have like a swag bag or something. The men's was significantly more, like they significantly had more, whereas I'm sorry, somebody's audio playing in the back?
No.
But it might just be my computer. But basically the women's only barely got anything, and it's just like they're not they're not getting as much, or they're not getting the same accommodations, when they're pretty much doing the same thing. They're both there to play basketball in the tournament, and you just don't get they don't get the same amount of treatment. Even to the food was like the men's had like a whole buffet that they could pick out, whereas the women's just had like one plate to choose from. And they even said like one of the excuses they tried to use was the fact that they were trying to say the fact that the weather is different because they're in different states. So they were trying to say the weather was a factor. I'm like, the boys literally got a book in their swag bag. So when does weather affect your reading? Like, I think it's just BS. So I'm trying to log into Twitter.
Affect your reading.
I see it, but I have it on my phone.
Yeah, so
I can't even find it on Twitter. But I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
So I'll have it up here in a sec, but I just find that to be complete BS. I'm gonna share the screen real quick.
But I don't get it. Like, I get it. Well, why don't you hold the tournament in one place and have just one giant facility?
So if you guys can see this, so this is the men's facility. Like this is the men's weight room. You see they have like the dumbbells right here, like the stations, like for squats and stuff like everything.
Yeah.
Then you get to the women's.
That little corner.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
That's it.
I don't even think it goes to 50.
It has a folding table.
That's it.
Like,
That's exactly a folding table. This is like a whole professional facility.
Yeah.
And this is just something you throw. This is just something you throw together, last minute. Then you get to the swag bags. This is the men's. Like I said, they have a book right here. Even the pillows.
They have pillows.
Like body wash.
Man, they got all
like that.
Oh wow.
Then you get to the women's.
Oh.
That's it. A scrunchie, an umbrella. I don't even see any like wipes or anything.
Then I think it's really sad because there's some teams that are really good, and like at certain schools the women's programs are better than the men's. But yeah. I think it just comes down to who brings in more money. And I think that just determines, which is kind of sad. But I can go into another conversation how capitalism controls everything. But I think honestly it comes down to who brings in more money for this specific school, or whenever they're playing and stuff, and they know the ratings are going to go up. So I think they don't put as much money into it because they might not get as high as a return on their investment, which is unfortunate.
But that's the thing. So I was in theology class. Shout out to Mr. Schulteis. Basically, he's been teaching us about like the difference between discrimination, like bias, prejudice, and stuff like that. And we did a little survey on like whether you agree or disagree. And he was like, the statement said, I was completely shocked that the U.S. women's team that won the championship only got like 10% of the men's salary. And I was in shock. I was like, I can't believe that. But then once I thought about it, I'm like, but at the same time, like, I'm so shocked. I'm just not like completely shocked because it's the way things are, which is just sad. And somebody even mentioned revenue, and Mr. Schulteis even said that's the thing. The woman, like from 2015 to now, I think it was like the women's team has brought in more revenue than the men's team did in soccer. So revenue is not even an issue.
Really good for the women. The men don't even win.
The women's team is better than the men's team. But so I don't even think revenue is the main issue. It's just the fact that they're not getting enough attention, enough coverage. And that's what we were talking about in the locker room. So like one of them was people saying, like watch the games more. And that's another thing too, coverage, because WNBA games are like they're barely on TV, whereas NBA, you found one, TNT, ESPN, Fox, ABC. I don't know about Fox, but ABC, even they have NBA TV. Yeah, not Fox, but they even have NBA TV. Whereas WNBA, I'll find it on like one or two channels, and you barely hear about it. The coverage is just, there's no coverage. So it starts with like supporting them. Like one of them was saying, and they were all pushing to get the league pass. That's what I'm gonna do. The league pass is like basically you have access to like all the games and stuff like that, and it's only $15. So it's not a bad price. That's a really great
month or
no, I think like I'm not sure if it's like a month or anything, but I'm trying to check because I know other leagues like NFL, NBA that can go up to like 70, 80, 100. Let me check right here. I don't know if so league pass on here says $4.99. They were saying 15 in the chat, but it's not saying like if it's a month or a year.
Wait, so the regular is wait, hold up. All teams is $99. One team $59. NBA Live TV is $29. What up?
What's that, NBA?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to find League Pass premium is $124. That's the highest it goes to.
Yeah. So if you look at the packages, this is the only league pass for WNBA, and it says $4.99.
Actually,
yeah,
dang.
But they were saying 15. I'm looking into it more. So
maybe 15 might be like premium, like maybe without ads or something.
I don't get that. Why
so
don't
it says a league pass subscription will let you watch on nearly any screen, giving you access to every non-national televised game for the absurdly reasonable price of $16.99 for the entire season. If you mostly follow a single team and just want access to their games, you can get a single team subscription for just $9.99. So yeah, it's crazy. Like you can, that's one way to support it. Get the league pass. It's not expensive whatsoever. And it's not like, it's not even just like sitting there and watching the games, like all the, like just sitting there in front of the TV watching the games. Like you can support them, or if you see somebody like disrespecting women's and like female athletes, just check them, just hold them in check, hold them accountable. And we have to start respecting women, because at the end of the day, I know this has been a big quad in here, is like, how are you going to disrespect something you came out of? But not only that, it's just, even the female said, like, it's not even just that, it's just, we're humans at the end of the day. And so yeah. And another thing, I was watching I Am Athlete. They have like a whole show where they just talk about like different topics and stuff. And they had a WNBA player on there, Lexi Brown. They had 2 NFL players, DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson. And one of them was talking about, like how can, there's talking about the unity of like athletes and stuff, like, of athletes, like male athletes sticking up for women athletes and stuff like that. And DK was saying, we have to support them, because at the end of the day, they're athletes. It's not like, oh, she's a female basketball player and I'm a male basketball player, I'm a male football player. At the end of the day, they all do the same thing. They all play a sport and they're all athletes. So that's just my take on, we have to start respecting them, because half these females I know females who play basketball, half these can be half the guys I know. So you just gotta start putting respect on their name.
Yes, and hey, I saw this one female basketball player. I don't remember. It was just this clip that I seen on Twitter, and she broke somebody ankle. Like she snatched the other girl's soul. I was like, whoa, they breaking ankles now? Like no, just like, I haven't seen that like ever, like where it's like some crazy handles, but I forgot what her name was. I should have pulled up her name, but she had some crazy handles. She snatched back and everything, dropped the other girl. I was like, that's the first ankle breaker I've seen. And I watched a lot of Maya Moore.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that. And Maya Moore is nice. I'll say this. Maya Moore, I feel like Maya Moore can really like be an NBA average at least 15. In my opinion. Like Maya Moore is actually nice.
Yeah, she's a bucket. She a bucket.
Yeah.
Rose said, what did I miss? So like I said in the comments, we're just talking about respecting female athletes and Shaq's comments on the WNBA. And I'll share the screen again, but basically we're talking about this too. So this is the men's facility, like this is the men's gym facility for like the March Madness tournament, and then this is the females. And then you talk about the men, like the swag bag, like the stuff they get. They have like Lysol wipes, deodorant, stuff like that. They even have pillowcases. They have a book. A shirt, looks like some joggers, and then this is the women's. It's just,
I'm not gonna lie. When I seen that third slide right there, and I was looking at the Lysol, I saw like the yellow with the blue imprints. I thought it was the I can't believe it's not butter. Like, I don't know what was thinking in my mind. I don't know what was
Maybe
thinking.
You were hungry.
Man talking about butter.
You were hungry.
I'm not hungry. I'm tired right now. My thighs are burning. I told you my thighs are burning right now. I do not need no butter right now. I do not need no butter right now. But I don't know why I thought worded that.
Shaq worded that terribly, but it's
terribly worded
for trying terribly to get the WNBA exposure, since that's a huge rating boost. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what Camille said earlier. Like, it was worded, he didn't word it right, but I understand what he was trying to do. He just didn't do it right.
Yeah, the intent was good and well. I can only hope. But how it came out is just, it was a little, it's like he was throwing a little bit of shade. Again, like I think the one thing I really got from the clip was just to help y'all, because it seemed like y'all really need the help, And I can give it to you. All we had to do is just lower it a little bit, and yeah. But I think at the end of the day, if you truly like the sport, you would genuinely watch it. But of course, you got to branch out and stuff to get something more entertaining for more people to watch it. But the people who actually like watch the sport because they love the sport, like I know my brother watches almost every single sport because he just likes sports. And I know, like, when the Olympics come around, that is my expertise. I love watching the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like I really like that because I don't know. I think it's so cool that people can do that, and I'm just like, wow. Couldn't be me, but I just give praise for people who do that, and they go through all that training. And if you really respect it, you will watch it, and you're going to hear about it, you're going to post about it, all this other stuff. So that's just the big thing. And what Kyle said about holding people accountable when they say certain things, because it's not just in athletics, it's everywhere else when you're thinking of like gender equality, making sure that you're not, it's the little comments too that I think people don't realize actually show their ignorance and their bias and whatever, and that it kind of shows a little bit of support. What am I trying to say? That they're superior to them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the little comments, you have to check people on those as well.
Yeah. So, all right, I guess we can move on to the last topic. Let me see. Shaq has been very interested by WNBA team, so I don't doubt his intents. But some experiments not lowering rims to implement casual fans will help watch other. Yeah, and that's what we were saying. So, and he said microaggressions.
That's
microaggressions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Microaggressions are macroaggressions. They're all aggressions.
Right. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I saw a B Souls podcast, and he was saying one thing, and I actually agree with this. He was saying to make fans more interested, decrease the shot clock so it makes it a more fast-paced game. I think that would definitely make it interesting. My thing has been either, institute a 4-point line or, make the 3-point line deeper. Because that's another thing, too. It's not just dunks that get fans interested. Like, me and Jalen know, we see Steph Curry, Damian Lillard pulling up from 30, 40 feet. We just be like, oh, like stuff like that could make it more interesting. But
once I started seeing Damian Lillard is besides Steph Curry, like actually casually pull up from 40 and make it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no effort.
I'm about to just click on the Portland games. That I've been watching Portland play. Like Damian Lillard has consistently been just pulling up 30, 40 casual.
Yeah.
Like same thing with LaMelo Ball. He's been pulling up, well, I won't say 40, but he's been pulling up 35 plus and just making them. I'm like, I'm tuning into Charlotte's games too. Like Charlotte's games, I've been tuning in.
So, all right. I guess we can move on to our last topic here. So, should top high school recruits go attend HBCUs? So, this has been a big thing. Me and Jalen talked about this before on the podcast, where he talked about Mikey Williams. He's the top basketball player in 2022, 23? I think 23. 23. And he was saying, 23? Yeah. So he's like, 15, 16, coming out saying like,
bro, talk. Yeah, what's up?
And he's basically saying like, this was back in the last summer, like Black Lives Matter was starting to take over. He was like, listen, I want to go to a HBCU, like give back to my people. And he was even saying his mother went to Hampton. So like, and ever since then he's gotten offers from HBCUs, and now
offer from Howard. Is that the one?
I think so. I'm not sure. Oh, there is a guy who went to Howard though. Thon Maker. He's an NBA player. His brother actually went to Howard to play basketball. So, but I think Mikey Williams got an offer from Howard. But and basically, I'm gonna share the screen. So, former NFL player Deion Sanders. Yeah, he's taken over Jackson State, which is a HBCU. And when his sons went to college, you see they're 3-0 right there. But when his sons went to college, one of them went to Florida Atlantic, but they flipped to Jackson State to play with them. And ever since then, they've been able to like get all these top recruits, or all these transfers, and it's just
like Shador, like He's class of 21,
Yeah.
but like I think he finished, but he has to wait until the fall or whatever to officially.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's playing.
And they're having people tune in. Like I just saw one of the games was broadcasted on what's the name on ESPN2, which I was like, wow, that's big for HBCU to like go there. So my thing is, I even heard about this before, and it makes sense. You know, when you're a top athlete, especially if you didn't like, if you came from like not having a lot or you're not having everything, you see these guys, like all these top players, going to like these colleges like Duke, UNC, LSU, stuff like that. You're seeing like, all right, that's where the money is, and it's like, all right, I want to be next in line, like next in line for of that college royalty. Whereas instead of, my thing is they could go to a HBCU and build that up from the ground up, because that's the thing with the black colleges, they're underfunded and they don't have it's not a lot of money. Whereas if you were to get like somebody like, say if like a Mikey Williams were to go there, wasn't to go to Hampton, that could build up the area, because it's like, all right, more people are going to be like, all right, we have to watch him. That's going to bring in people ESPN, because we all know he's going to go to the NBA. He's going to be a top pick. That's bringing ESPN there, and they're like, all right, we need to watch out this guy that can bring the spotlight to other players on the team and just the like area in general. Rose said, you guys are awesome. Thank you. But thank you.
I was gonna say that you bring up a good point. One thing my dad like always says is that if you're good, like they'll find you. The league will find you because they know who the good players are. You can be on a losing team, but you could be a great player and they just know who you are. So regardless of, like, I know it sounds good, like, go to these big schools, but sometimes you just might be another number. Because when people are great there, there's so many people who are great or even better than you are. And you might just be just like another number. You might not even get your chance. Whereas if you went to like a little smaller school, if you went to an HBCU, your name will definitely be really out there. And if you're good, you shouldn't really worry about where you're really going because they'll find you. Like, we already know, like, top athletes, people have been recruiting them. Like Mikey Williams, as you just said, he was 15, 16, and they already know that he's going to go to the NBA. Like, people are already like predicting that. So if you're really that good, regardless of where you go, I think they'll find you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've been saying Mikey Williams is a future lottery pick. So it's like, it's just, they already destining him. He might, I'm gonna be honest, he might be a top 3 pick easily, just because of the fact that how athletic he is. He can shoot from deep, and then it's just crazy. And what Kyle was saying earlier before about how colleges are significantly underfunded, HBCU specifically, and I think it's kind of like in the same way of what that WNBA is, just not as much coverage going to those HBCUs. Whereas like schools like Clemson or LSU, they get all types of coverage from sports, and to be honest, that's what really
brings in the money.
That brings in the money.
How much that coach makes from Alabama?
Nick Saban, probably, I don't even know.
A lot of money.
I just seen somebody from our school. I forgot his name. Colin something. I forgot his last name. But he said he got acceptance from Maryland. First off, Maryland's already hard to get in. It's hard.
Especially if you live here.
Yes. Especially Maryland, which is ridiculous. I got denied from Maryland, which I was so mad about it. But anyways, right?
That's okay. They missed out.
So
I haven't heard back from Maryland, so I don't care. But
he got accepted into Maryland, which is already impossible. And he got accepted into Alabama and UNC or something like that. I forgot. But he decided to go to Alabama. And I was like, when I saw that, and I actually asked him in his class, he's in one of my classes. I asked him, and he was like, well, football. I was like, what? And he's like, he would rather go to Alabama because it's more entertaining. He knows it's like a party school, whatever. And it's like, what? Like in my mind, I'm like, what?
Wait, so he's going to watch the games or play in them? Like,
he's going to like watch the games, like be in that environment.
Oh, but he doesn't play football.
No.
So he's not being recruited by them.
No.
He just wants to go for
he's literally only going for the games.
Yes, he's going for the games and being
paying all that money for a game.
And that's insane. But could you imagine how many people
better be on a full ride?
Yeah,
just going for the game.
It could also be like no, it can't be tuition because he would get in-state tuition. But anyways, right?
Yeah.
He probably there's probably a bunch of people like him that's out there that would rather go to a school like Alabama or Clemson or LSU because of the environment that's there with the football and sports, just in general. So
I've seen that before.
Yeah, and besides those schools, they can ignore all the problems that's associated within schools. And I know y'all heard it when it comes to HBCUs. Well, maybe I've heard it from multiple people about HBCUs, about all the problems that come with having it or being a part in the HBCU. At least I've heard it. But I've heard
What are the problems?
I've heard like they don't know how to manage money right, or all different like.
Yeah, I see that because
money or whatever.
A&T, if you're watching this, stop playing with my financial aid.
Like they're slow to respond. The teachers are really ignorant. Is like they don't care about their students at all. Like I've heard that stuff, and it's like what? But like if you go to get accepted to LSU, oh my gosh, like you got accepted to LSU, like that's a great school. Like we don't know what LSU is actually really good at. We just know
I was about to say, because if I'm being honest, I know about LSU because of football. Like I never looked into the school. I'm never like, all right, what are the numbers? Like, what are the statistics?
But
like
that's what they're betting on. Like people know them for their sports, and then people like want to apply there just to go to the games. Like your friend going to Alabama, like just for that environment, just for the games, because there's gonna be some good games because they really win majority of the time. But the thing about HBCUs, that's not everything, and that's not every person. Like you might have one person who really does not care. I think that's just anywhere. Some people just you don't know why they took that job. You really don't know. But going to HBCU, it's a different environment, and you're finally in an environment that wants to see you succeed as a Black person. They are catered. They're catering you, and they are preparing you. And a lot of people bring up the argument that it doesn't prepare you for the real world. But like, look at the real world. We have Kamala Harris. She went to HBCU. We have Stacey Abrams, who helped with that. She went to Spelman College. You can see my Spelman sign behind me too. But there's plenty of people who are HBCU graduates and athletes too. There are some athletes who
I was just about to talk
and
about
they're like big time athletes. And I think people just hear like, some couple horror stories about, the inside with the management and everything. But I think I agree with Zoe's comment. The academics and culture, you can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
You really cannot.
And plus, the HBCU is like another place where you can go where you can be unapologetically Black. You can be around other Black people. And like you said, with the athletes, like we've seen athletes that went to HBCUs and are great. Like Jerry Rice, literally, he's arguably the greatest receiver of all time in the history of the NFL. He went to Grambling State. Tariq Cohen, that's another guy. He's a nice little running back in the game. He went to North Carolina at A&T. That's my school right there. I had to represent. Michael Strahan, he has this record for most sacks in the season. He went to HBCU, and even the first Black quarterback to get drafted in the first round and to win the Super Bowl, he went to Grambling State. That's all. So like you can go there and build. Like you can go there and build instead of just being next in line. Like you can go there and build.
And you won't be a number at HBCU because it's a smaller family, and it's closer, and they do care about you. Not every single person gonna care about you though, and saying not all, Black folk or kinfolk, so that's not how it works. But I think it's significantly more than at a PWI because you would have to find those Black spaces. You would have to find the BSUs and all this other stuff. But I'd rather not have to be in a club in order to feel comfortable, in order to fully be yourself. And I think that really trumps everything, especially in environments that I've grown up predominantly white schools, and my high school is diverse and everything, but then my classes aren't as diverse because I take advanced classes. So at least at college, because everyone's there primarily because they're paying for it, so they want to be there. You paying for this. College is not a requirement. All throughout school, that is a requirement. So people are going there just because they have to. But you get a different breed of people because you're paying to go here. So you want to go here. Well, I would hope so. Now, that's not the case for everyone. Majority of the people, they want to be there. And you're going to be in a different environment. People who actually want to learn. People who have goals. People who are ambitious. And it's different. Yeah.
And I remember my brother told me this because he knows I'm looking at HBCU. I'm trying to go to A&T. He goes to a HBCU. He goes to Norfolk State. He literally said there, and he literally sat there and told me, he was like, He's like, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, college is going to be the best time of your life. He told me the college. That's what a lot of people say. The best 4 years of your life. So why not go? And he likes it down in Norfolk, you know. So I'm like, why not go to a school where I'm around black people? I'm not just another minority or diversity. Like I'm there, where instead of just having to be like, all right, yeah, I represent all the black people. It's like I'm literally just here. I could just be a regular person,
Exactly.
you know. And it's like, especially for the athletes, y'all, you don't have to go to those top schools just because they're top schools. Like, listen, Alabama and LSU, like those schools, Dukes and all that, they had to start from the bottom. Like Alabama in the 90s, like 60s, 70s, 80s and all that, they were trash. They were terrible. Like they had to start from somewhere. So why not start with the HBCU? Why not put HBCUs on the map? Deion Sanders is doing it right now with him and the Suns and the other guys that he brought in. They're 3-0. They're getting ESPN coverage. So why not? Like if you're a bad, like, could you imagine if like a Zion Williamson instead of Duke, he went to A&T, and then like RJ Barrett went to Howard? Like that would put those schools on the map because, like you said, they're gonna find you regardless. Especially if you're Zion, he was literally projected to be the #1 pick, like since high school,
senior year, definitely.
Exactly. So like, why not? She said,
I feel like
take your talents to HBCUs and sign. Exactly. Do what LeBron did. Go to I'm gonna take my talents to Howard, NCAT, like Spelman, whatever.
The decision. The decision for real.
I feel like a lot of those athletes, if you go to a different school like PWIs, I feel like you're just labeled as like you're only just an athlete. But I feel like at an HBCU, you can be more than just an athlete. You're actually, they want to see you succeed other than your athletics. Of course, you know, we're trying to see you to the NFL, NBA, what have you, but you still have that foundation that is preparing you for a possible career. And I think at other schools, it's kind of just like, you're just an athlete. And you know what made me think of that? When I toured, I was looking at Temple and I saw that like majority of the black people where I really saw, they were like in the athletics, which is not the case for every school, but like I feel like that's where you see majority of them. And it's kind of sad where you see that's where we're used. Like I feel like you're kind of just labeled as that, and you're far more than just your athletics. Now that school is still like pretty like diverse and everything, but that's just what I noticed, how it's like a lot more in the athletic department than academics.
Yeah,
right.
Especially Mount St. Joe.
Like because I was gonna say, like, imagine if Dante instead of Oregon, he would have went to Howard.
Yeah,
or and,
top 50 in the country.
And then say like AC, like, or say Jalen Smith, like our freshman year, like saying stuff. Maryland, he went to like Coppin State. That would put those schools on the map. And we even saw, like last night, I just saw Norfolk State. They beat Appalachian State in the tournament. Like they beat Appalachian State by 1 point in the tournament, and it was a good game. Like the team, like these teams can get coverage. It just starts with us,
man. And I won't even say this, like what I was saying earlier about the stigmas. Not just sports. Like there's HBCUs like that really thrive in specific programs, like NCAT and State, that are really good with engineering. Like those are some schools that you really go to for like engineering, or like Morgan's a little bit more for architecture, but it's the same thing with NCAT too. So I got my decision back from Morgan, so I know a little more. I'm still waiting on my decision from NCAT. I'm about to call out the school today.
Yes, sir.
I'm waiting on my decision. I'm waiting on my
keep being on them, because sometimes you just gotta apply a little bit of pressure. Then they'll answer you. They really will. You just gotta apply that pressure.
Yeah, I got to, because I know for a fact.
NCAT, I know y'all watching this. Stop playing with my money. Tell them, bring me my money.
Yeah, hey, give me my decision letter. Give me my acceptance, because I know for a fact I got the grades for it. I know for a fact I got the grades for it. There's no way y'all about to deny me. All right, and
exactly.
And I applied in January. I'm waiting on it.
I was gonna say it's about to be April.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you
this though. We got like 2 weeks, and then this time is really flying by.
100% HBCU experience at the right time. Coppin State.
Except for all the way to Coppin State. Hey, that's good.
He's taking his talents to Greensboro. I'm taking my talents to Greensboro.
Oh no, but no. I'll be fine with either Morgan State or MK anyway. I think those are the last two.
So my cousin goes there. He really likes it.
Yeah.
Not online, but he liked the time that he actually was on campus.
Actually there. Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's gonna be. Oh yeah, all three of us looking at HBCUs.
Hey,
not even looking at. I already committed.
Or yeah, we're going.
We're already committed.
I'm trying to commit. Like I said, stop playing with that financial aid.
Wait, you committed like really early.
I committed since my brother was looking at.
I already been Spelman. I was Spelman when I was in freshman year.
She's been Spelman since the womb.
Yeah. Okay, yo, look at my phone. I got a Spelman case. I got the Spelman sign behind me. Like I've been Spelman since freshman year. So when I got it, I immediately committed and everything. So
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the finances will work its way out. You know, God has a plan. Hopefully, he won't let me down.
I was gonna say, if you got to accept this letter that early, you probably have that worked out. Like, do they say anything? Like, cause I know.
Yeah, but I'm still applying to scholarships, so
college
is my cheaps. So we still applying. So
It's tough.
It's tough. That's tough. That's good. Hey.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess that's gonna do it. This is our first episode on YouTube, so we appreciate all you guys for coming in, talking with us. But I got somewhere to be, so that's gonna do it.
That's how you gonna end it. I got somewhere to be.
I got somewhere to be.
I got
this
to be,
but
last episode.
Girl.
All right, we're not going to get into that. We're not getting into that. We're not about to get into that. But
wow.
But all right, this is a good ending now. It's a good ending.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. I'm your host, Kyle Alexander.
Shoot, I'm here, Jalen Caravaggio.
Okay, I'm Camille. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Life with Camille.
Yep.
Yeah.
Life with Camille. Also, I got my channel, KLA Sports. Jalen got his channel on the come up.
Bro. Last time I said it was coming in. Yo, I had my PC right here. Smacked it. I just smacked it, right? I'm literally everything is working, but I need a Microsoft program, and I thought I could get it down, so I have to get it in. So this weekend, I gotta buy it, and I have to have this up because now I'm actually getting mad at myself. Like that's why all I've been thinking about, like the past couple is like, yo, I need to just go out. I just need to just get myself up. Like earlier today, get my ass up and just run. Just
the way he looks back.
Yeah.
Did anyone hear me?
Get my ass up and work out. That's what I swear on everything. That's why I needed to do. So I definitely need to. I definitely need to turn up because now this is actually making me mad. But yeah, not sure what my channel name is going to be. It's probably going to be J Marcel. I don't really know. I don't really know. It's on the top of my dome. But
we'll keep you posted.
But definitely follow my IG at jmarcel_.
Yes, sir. I'm Kyle the OG _15.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, but my Instagram is private. But you can follow my Twitter, which is 002. I mean, there's a lot. You don't know who on the internet, so. True. And Twitter's cool. Like I feel like you can find.
I was gonna say, especially family. Black Twitter. Oh, Black Twitter.
So funny. So funny. But yeah, that's my social.
Yep.
All right, so that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for coming by for the first YouTube episodes, the first of many. Hope you guys continue to come back. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace.